Hello everyone. Today's film is going to be a brand and product focused film. And today's film is also going to be a continuation of the Palest shade series, where I review and test out and trial out a pale formulation for the first time. One of the key aspects about this series is that the foundations that I review, or the concealer or the skincare products, has to be of a pale shade, because many brands launch shade ranges, but they may not have shades pale enough. So to introduce to you where I begin the threshold of palest shade, or shades that are pale, I start at a MAC Cosmetics NC15 and above. But in today's film, I'm going to be trying out the very recently released Kylie Cosmetics Skin Concealer. Now, I would have preferred to have done this review a lot sooner, but because I ordered it from the United States, it took some time to be delivered and I had to go through customs, and there was a slight problem with my package, which was the responsibility of the delivery company. It wasn't anything to do with myself or Kylie Cosmetics. But that of course has amended and my package has arrived. I ordered 3 products from the brand: Skin Concealer in the shade Pearl, Ultra Glow in the shade Wisteria, and Velvet Lip Kit in the shade Charm. So this is the box that came in, and as soon as you open it, you are immediately greeted with the Kylie Cosmetics branding. As you can see here, there is kyliescosmetics.com, as well as the logo down below and her branding. However, they forgot the www in front of kyliescosmetics.com, which I think is a trend nowadays. A lot of people are doing that. And it's all black and white, and when you open it up, all the products are inside, and there's a little postcard here with a message from Kylie. And then of course there is some foam for protection, and inside are the products. Now, this is my first purchase and first time trying out Kylie Cosmetics, so I bought several products to try out and to try out the brand, but today's focus is mainly going to be on the Skin Concealer in the shade Pearl, to see if it is adequate and to see if it is light enough for the most very fairest of skin tones like my own. So starting from right to left, first of all I have a lip kit in the shade Charm. This includes a liquid lipstick and a lip pencil. Then there's the Skin Concealer in the shade Pearl, and of course the Ultra Glow in the shade Wisteria. The Ultra Glow comes in this beautiful black packaging, very slick. Then the Skin Concealer comes in this metallic packaging that has what I presume will be many of the shades of the Skin Concealer on it. So it's very interactive. Then of course there's the lip kit in the shade Charm, which is decorated with the shade of the lipstick on the side, and of course it's on the front there as well. But to begin, I'm going to unbox and try out the Skin Concealer in the shade Pearl. Now, as this is a concealer, I wasn't going to use it for my entire base today. I'm going to use it as a concealer. I'm sure you could use it for your entire base, but today I want to trial it out as a concealer for concealing blemishes and colour correcting discoloration. That is what I'm going to use it for. Now, as you may be able to tell, I've already gone in with eyebrows and base. To prime and moisturize and replenish my skin, I took some of Maclean Concentrate Embryolisse, my go-to moisturizer, and then I applied a light layer of Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation in the shade Light 42 Neutral. Now, I haven't set it through with any powder, not yet, as I'm going to be going in with additional products. For eyebrows, I used a combination of Inglots powder eyeshadows in the shade 349 and 348, which are these two very beautiful and very similar grey-based tones here. One is simply lighter and one is simply darker, but they're very similar shades, similar undertones. I took the 349 to sketch out and stencil out the brow, and with the 348 I drew in individual hairs just to add texture. So I'm going to take this out of its packaging. As you can see, it's very metallic and very shiny, but it's got a slight metallic bit of tape with the shade name on the top. So I shall remove it from the bottom so I don't rip the tape. So this is what it looks like when it comes out of the packaging. Its packaging is quite simple. It has the branding at the bottom. As you can see, this is the shade right here. And then it has a chrome effect plastic nozzle that you just open, and it opens like so. And it also has the shade names and expiry date on the bottom. Before I continue, the packaging has all the ingredients and information listed on the box. So if we're to look at this, immediately I can tell it is a pale formulation. I don't think it will be light enough for my skin tone. We will find that in just a moment. But it is definitely amongst the palest shades. Now, when you open it, it has a doe foot applicator, but not the kind that you typically see with concealers or with liquid lipsticks. Concealers and liquid lips do tend to have very similar doe foot applicators. If you can see, this one is flat on one side, and then when you turn it to the side, it's narrow. So it's quite flat. It's not shaped like a lipstick. It's flat, this one. And I shall presume that that was designed so that you'll be able to disperse product over an area a lot faster than the regular doe foot ones. So first of all, all, I'm just going to apply that to the underneath of the eyes, first of all. It's actually quite light. It's very similar shade to the Kat Von D foundation, actually, when applying it. And I'm just going to dab a little bit of it on top of a spot. And so far, it's quite liquidy and a little thick, and definitely a lot lighter than I expected. We shall see if it oxidizes in any way. But so far, I probably could wear this concealer, as it seems to be light enough for my skin tone. And I always like to take a little bit of the concealer just into the inner corner of the eye and down the sides of the nose, just to brighten and disguise any discoloration or imperfections that I have in those regions. Now, perhaps I will be putting on more than I necessarily should, but today I'm wanting to see how effective it is. And I'm taking a little bit of it on the nose just to conceal any discoloration, some of it through the center of the forehead, and then on top of spots or areas I would like to have additional coverage in. So far I can definitely confirm it to be a pale formulation so far. Now I actually quite like the applicator that it has. It's different to the regular doe foot. At first I was a little bit dubious about it, but using it I'm seeing that it's actually quite effective, as you can be quite specific and drag the product. I find that a little harder to do with the regular doe foots. Now the reason I'm applying it quite far over the face rather than specifically is because I'm going to see how it performs overall, and certain areas I wanted to conceal further. Now I'm going to blend and buff and stipple all of that in with an e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. I use a bigger concealer brush for the larger areas. If I were to describe its smell, well, it definitely has a scent to it. It smells like foundation. It smells similar, slightly similar to the Kat Von D foundation, and slightly similar to the MAC Cosmetics Studio Fix Fluid Foundation. But there's almost a scent, a very faint scent that's been added to it, a very feminine scent. And then with my Urban Decay Optical Blurring Brush, I'm using that to blend the product in larger areas, in areas I do not require as much precision. And then to blend around the eyes more delicately and specifically, I'm going to take a Zova Synthetic 227 brush. Very important to be very gentle around the eye area. So that is all of it applied. It's actually quite easy to work with. It will definitely need setting. It is quite liquidy, the concealer. I wouldn't say it's very thick. It's something that you can definitely build with. So far, I definitely think it is a pale formulation. I'm doubtful that it will oxidize, but I would say that this is a formulation that I could wear. It is light enough for my skin. It is a very pale formulation, which is marvelous. For those of you who might not be aware, it is actually incredibly difficult to find formulations, concealer, powder, or foundation for the very fairest of skin tones. So it is definitely a quest to find formulations for the very palest of skin tones. But I definitely think this foundation will need powder, it needs setting. I applied quite a lot of it, of course, so I will definitely be setting it anyway. But looking at it, it does crease ever so slightly in my finer lines. Of course, I have applied quite a lot of it, but most concealers do tend to need setting regardless. Some don't, some dry more matte, but with this one I would definitely use just a very little bit of powder. So far I really like this concealer. And to set my entire face, my foundation and the concealer for which that I've just applied, I'm going to take some of Inglot's Mattifying Loose Powder. Now I do tend to get quite a lot of creasing underneath the eye, and to prevent the creasing I just go back in and dab it and stipple it underneath the eyes, just to prevent concealer or foundation from settling in my slightly fine lines, which is normal. This would happen with any foundation. And I'm just taking some of that loose powder first of all, and I'm just taking that on a Wayne Goss number 2 brush, just patting that on the underneath of the eyes. Not too much of it, but enough to set it. Just a little bit of it onto the side of the nose. And that is one tip to prevent creasing, is to just dab over your fine lines just before you set them, then go in and powder them. That way it sets the formation of the foundation or the concealer for which that you have applied in place, and it will take a lot longer for it to crease having been set. I will also make the recommendation to get a very magnified mirror. This one is by Revlon, and you can just go in and look and inspect the concealer or the foundation for which you've applied, to see how it appears, to see how it performs on your skin. This is also a great way of just making sure that you've stippled and blended any areas into place that you may have missed or not been able to see. And then to set the rest of the face, I'm taking the same powder on a MAC 138. And I'm just stippling the powder into place so that we don't disturb any of the concealer. So having set all of that through, I'm then taking my dry hands and just feeling the foundation, feeling what it's like. It's quite light feeling actually, despite having put a lot of it on and put a lot of powder on. Now I have absolutely no products on my lip at all. Now one thing that I like to do before going in with liquid lipstick and regular lipstick, but especially with liquid lips, as they are a drying formula, is to go in and exfoliate and nourish them at the same time. And to do that, I'm going to take some of the Elizabeth Arden 8-Hour Cream. Now I do this on every client and every model, especially on models as their skin is usually absolutely wrecked, as they're always working and always having makeup applied to them and taken off. And of course in winter time, most people's lips do get a little bit drier. What I do first of all is take a Q-tip or a cotton bud, however you title it within the region you are from, and I disperse it across the lips. But then I roll very firmly and pressing and rolling, but pressing very hard across the lips. And this is actually a very effective means of removing the product that you applied earlier, as well as dead skin. I do like to exfoliate with something a little bit more abrasive, but not every day, maybe once a week, as I do not like the feeling of anything that's scratchy or hard or very abrasive against my skin. I much prefer different strategies that gain the same effect, but don't feel as damaging. And I'm going to leave a little bit of the Elizabeth Arden 8-Hour Cream on the lips, even though I'm going to be going in with lipstick and lip liner, as it will provide a lubricant for the lipstick, but it shall also nourish and moisturize the lips. So here is one of the Kylie Cosmetics lip kits in the shade Charm. This is what the shade is. And I'm just going to open it from the top, and to remove the product, I'm just going to pour it onto my hand. Now within the lip kits you get two products. You get a lip liner and a liquid lipstick, and they're both in the exact same shade, which is Charm, which is this beautiful nude colour. It's very similar to my own lips, but less red in it. It's more pinky, more beige, and a little bit lighter. But first of all, I'm going to go in with the lip pencil in the shade Charm. So what I'm going to do with that first of all is fill the lips in ever so slightly, but correct any asymmetry and overline them a little bit, just to correct the shape. Now this lip pencil is actually an incredibly similar colour to my natural lips, and for that reason alone I quite like it. And I would describe it as being a very similar colour to the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Liner Lip Cheat in the shade Pillow Talk. This has a little bit less red in it though. However, I would describe it as being a little bit less vibrant than the Pillow Talk. It's actually quite similar to MAC Cosmetics lip liner in the shade Subculture and Spice, almost in between the two, but not as vibrant, so which is fantastic because it is very close to my natural lip colour. So I've gone in and filled in the lip entirely with that Charm lip liner. Now I'm going to take the Charm Velvet Liquid Lipstick and apply that directly on top of what we've applied. And now I'm going to take the Velvet Liquid Lipstick in the shade Charm and apply that over what we've applied to the lips already. Now on opening the product, it has almost like a bubblegum scent to it. I'm just applying that to the lips. So that's the liquid lipstick applied. I'm going to let it dry and just apply additional product in areas that require. Now what I will say about the Velvet Liquid Lips, this liquid lipstick formula is quite liquidy, it's quite watery. Even though you get good coverage with it, it doesn't have a drier texture like some other liquid lips. The Smashbox liquid lips have a much drier texture. You kind of have to really move the product around the lips with them. This one, it's quite liquidy, so you have to be a little bit more careful when applying it. I could compare it to Huda Beauty's liquid lipsticks, which are of course a little drier in texture. Of course it isn't a negative, but it is something to bear in mind when applying products. I think of course with any liquid lipstick you do have to be slightly more careful when applying the product. But so far I absolutely love this colour. Even though I didn't overline my lips substantially, it is making my lips look absolutely huge. I think that's partly because I haven't gone in and applied contour, which I'm going to do so right now as I'm beginning to look a little bit like a marshmallow. And I'm now going to go in and quickly contour with some of Kryolan's powder eyeshadow in the shade Sahara. And first of all, stippling that on with a Crown Brush S205 pointed blush brush, and then just brushing it upward and then stippling it onto the cheek ever so slightly, and the other side. And because the eyes are looking a little bit bold, I'm going to take some of MAC Cosmetics powder eyeshadow in the shade Omega, evidently very loved. I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to sweep that through the socket of the eye on a MAC 217, just to give the eyes a little bit of definition. And I'm just winging it out ever so slightly, and then going through with a clean Zova 228 brush ensuring seamlessness. And then with a Charles Fox 8146-031 brush, I'm applying that to the underneath of the eye. And then with that eyeshadow applied, I'm going to take some Inglot eyelash curlers and begin curling my eyelashes. And with the eyelashes curled, I am then going to take the Balm's What's Your Type mascara and apply that to the eyelashes. And this is where I take my magnified mirror and apply mascara looking downward. And I'm just working that into the roots first of all. You can tilt the direction of it to see what you're doing. So with the mascara applied, I'm now going to go in with my final Kylie Cosmetics product, which is the Wonder Glow in the shade Wisteria. Now, I saw this product and I thought this will be a fantastic highlighter on skin as fair as my own. This is a beautiful, sparkly, pinky, slightly purpley tone. It's not a duochrome, but it is very sparkly and very feminine. So I'm going to apply some of that to the highest points of my cheekbones. And this product actually comes in really slick, beautiful packaging. You just open it like that. And it comes in these black tubs and it has the metallic logo on front. And that is the colour inside. I removed the little bit of plastic that they have on it when it first arrives. There's a sticky bit of plastic over the holes which you access the product from, so the product doesn't fly everywhere. But I removed my one, and as you can see, if it hadn't had that, it would have gone everywhere. I would definitely describe this product as being a similar colour to Illamasqua's Loose Pigment in the shade Static, as well as MAC Cosmetics Loose Pigment in the shade Reflex Pink. It's very similar. The only thing is, with the Reflex Pink by MAC Cosmetics and Illamasqua's Loose Pigment in the shade Static, both of them are duochrome, so they have this beautiful purple sheen to them, but they're also slightly green at the same time. Whereas the Kylie Cosmetics Wisteria doesn't seem to have that duochrome effect. It doesn't have that slight green undertone to it. And I'm applying that dry, first of all, with a Zova 114. And as you can see, don't need that much. I think I've actually taken a little bit too much. Now, I think this colour is absolutely beautiful. And it's a very fine, refined formula. It's very fine. Now, I think it might be one of these products that you have to pat onto the skin. I don't think it would work so well if you then go in and buff it. If I were to go in and sort of apply and blend the edges with my contour brush from earlier, you can see it removes some of the product. So I definitely think that it's one of those things that you kind of have to pat on or finalise in the makeup with. But it has added the most beautiful sheen to my skin. Now, I like to apply highlighter here. Most people do not, as it highlights texture, but I think it just makes the skin look so healthy and alive. Even though it highlights texture, it just adds light to that area. But this Wisteria product doesn't really bring that much texture. It's quite sparkly and a little bit glittery, but I really like it so far. I apply a little bit of it to the nose. It is very glittery, this product. A little bit of it patted into the forehead. A little bit of it more on the bridge of the nose. And of course this is a loose powder highlighter, so you can use it as your highlighter, as eyeshadow, you can use it for whatever. And I'm just taking a little bit of it on the chin, tiny bit of it just on the cupid bow, and then mute it down with our powder brush from before, and slightly under the brow. Although I will state a word of caution, this Wisteria product does fly everywhere, as it is very fine. So be prepared to have your counter or wherever you're working slightly sparkly. And as I've been applying it, it has become very familiar and well acquainted with my black clothes. So as you can see, it's very sparkly, very glittery, very reflective. I absolutely love the colour. It just adds that purpley sheen but without the green. You can always go back in and mute down whatever you've applied with your powder brush from before. So that more or less completes the look. So far I have actually found the products to be really good and really effective. I do, however, have several points to note and certain recommendations. The main focus of today's film, of course, was to trial out the Kylie Cosmetics Skin Concealer. Now, I can definitely confirm this to be a pale formulation, suited to the very fairest of skin tones. I can definitely confirm that here today. Would I wear it on a regular basis? Would I use it within my work? Yes. So far I have not noticed any downsides, not yet anyway. It's performed quite well, it's held up quite well, and it of course is light enough. Now as for the Wisteria highlighter, I absolutely love it. I think it has added the most beautiful sheen to my skin. It weathers in nicely. After a wee while it starts to look absolutely beautiful and more at one with the skin. So it melts into the skin a little bit, and I think it just enhances my skin considerably. Now, as for the Velvet liquid lipstick and the lip pencil, I absolutely love the colour. I love the lip pencil. However, with the liquid lipsticks, I don't feel them setting or going as hard or as dry as they should on the lips, which is okay. But I did have a slight bit of transfer, as I shall demonstrate to you now by kissing into my juggernaut of a hand. And as you can see, there is a slight bit of transfer, which isn't a problem. I quite like the feeling of the lipstick on my lips. It isn't very drying compared to most liquid lipsticks, but that is something to bear in mind. I don't mind if there's a little bit of transfer. With regular cream lipsticks, you do tend to have some kind of transfer, but it is just something to bear in mind that this formula is different to most regular liquid lipsticks that dry completely matte and do not give a transfer. This one, however, doesn't feel as drying. It doesn't have that matte feeling that regular liquid lipsticks have, and it feels quite light. I think you could actually get away with topping it up at other points within the day. You probably would need to do so, as I don't think it would be as long wearing as regular liquid lipsticks, due to the fact that it doesn't have the component within it to make it one of these super dry, long-wearing lipsticks. Now, that isn't a criticism, it is simply an observation. So you might find this product to be more suiting for you, you might find it to be not suitable for you. But that is simply my observation and my recommendation when trying out this product. So in summary of the products by Kylie Cosmetics, I could definitely confirm once again that the skin concealer in the shade Pearl is a pale formulation, and it appears on me to be performing quite well. That might be a different case for you. I definitely think that when it comes to base products like concealer, foundation, powder, loose powder, pressed powder, powder foundation, the performance is usually subjective to the individual. So the product will function very well or very badly depending on the individual and whatever kind of skin type you have, or what sort of schedule you have, or what kind of day you're having. That is how products usually perform best. So, but I found this to be pretty decent so far. I absolutely loved this loose highlighting powder, this Ultra Glow powder in the shade Wisteria. I think it's fantastic. It's very fabulous and very glamorous. And lastly, the Velvet Lip Kit in the shade Charm. Now, I absolutely love the colour of this lip pencil. It's a beautiful colour. I think it looks great on my lips. It's not too far away from my natural lip colour. I also quite liked the liquid lipstick, despite my points about it not being transfer proof. It's kind of more like a regular lipstick in that regard, and it seems to be performing quite well on my lips. But I think the colour of these products is fantastic, certainly for my own complexion and my own lips. So that more or less completes the look and summarises my review of the Kylie Cosmetics Skin Concealer, Velvet Liquid Lips, Lip Liner, and loose highlighting powder. So far with this brand and with these products, my experience has been positive. And for those of you who are unaware, Kylie Cosmetics is the work of Kylie Jenner, who is an entrepreneur and a TV star. And Kylie Cosmetics is relatively new as a company. I know that they're not that old, and despite being a relatively young company, they've been able to expand to many different products. I love production and I love enterprise. And in that event, I would like to take the opportunity to wish Kylie Jenner herself and Kylie Cosmetics all the best of luck and continued success for the future with their growth and their development. I've had a lot of fun creating this film for you here today, and I very much hope that today's film has given you clearance when considering the brand and the products and the shades. I hope that you have found today's film either interesting, useful, entertaining, helpful, or beneficial. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and of course, take care. Bye!